Welcome to the Nutritional Wellness Tip for Menopausal Women show. I am Michelle, a life designer coach, nutritional therapist, leader in Run Fitness, health enthusiast, mum of two, entrepreneur, and host of this show. Through this podcast, I have a passion to bring wisdom and experiences from inspirational people, holistic well-being partners that I work with, and from within my own life journey, because I truly want to unravel complexities and support you around the globe to elevate the health and well-being. Because I believe that together we can work together and open opportunities to live the life you want to lead and feel really empowered to fly to great heights. Now, if you've listened to previous episodes, you will know that we've had a variety of topics. And if you're new to the show, welcome. This week, I am coming a bit more well-being focused, and we're taking a deep dive into the types of rest that we will require to ensure that our health is optimum. Now, you might be saying, well, why am I doing this? And the reason being is I took some time out for myself at the weekend, and I went on what I class as a very creative journey, and I had the most amazing day. I really did. I came back and my mind was clearer. I felt more energized. I just was excited with some new ideas. I felt so grounded, so peaceful and present with all my relationships. And particularly I came back and I felt such a gratitude to be with my family and my children. And so I suppose really, whether or not, you're going through the menopause is irrelevant for this episode. This one, share with your partners, your friends, your relatives, okay? Because I truly think that this topic about the types of rest is applicable to all of us. And I know for one, there is many of us out there that just walk through our days just feeling so tired, so overwhelmed, and partly that could be to our non-stop schedules that we have and all the activities that we're juggling and the amount of constant stimulation. And we are all guilty of saying, look, we just need more sleep, right? And yeah, it is true that rest goes, way beyond sleep. It's not just getting your 8 hours or more or having that lie-in. It's more. Rest is more than just the sleep. And I came across this because I was listening to another podcast, and it was by Dr. Sandra Dalton-Smith, and her recent book on highlights the 7 types of essential rest. And just by what I did at the weekend, which was I attended a cooking class in London and went all by myself and learnt a new skill. And just by doing that one type of rest, the impact was huge. It really did stop me in its tracks. And it got me thinking, because then I thought, well, if that's had a huge impact with me, then it's equally going to have a huge impact with you. And I really want us to start thinking and being present and looking at ourselves holistically. And we'll go through the types of rest. And just and the studies and from her clients, she's shown that by embracing each type of rest, we can find ourselves more energized, more emotionally balanced, mentally sharp, and ready to tackle the life challenges with renewed vigor. So, and I think it's really important, okay, because we are holistic well-being. It's not just about food, nutrition, it is about us as people. So I want to just recap, just to kind of bring you to that present moment of what may be some of the signs you are experiencing, we are experiencing, which says we need to really just stop, pause, look at ourselves holistically, and just question whether or not we're lacking in a key area, rest area. And we've mentioned some of them, but you're feeling overwhelmed by daily activities, just normal, constant life activities. You're getting headaches, you've got brain fog, you've got back, shoulder and neck pain, you're constantly in a state of tiredness, decrease in the desire to be intimate with your partner. You've got mood swings left, right, and centre, including irritability with just loved ones, where they can say one thing and it's boom. And let's just pause there and go, does any of this apply to you? Have you experienced any of these? When we rest, we're not just stopping a physical activity or work or getting a good night's sleep. When we talk about rest, it's when we truly get to a state where our mind, body, and soul can relax and recover. And it's really restoring and calming our body from the depths. And we've mentioned this before, that when we actually rest, part of our human processes is repair. And our mind gets a chance to process experiences. We can consolidate memories and we can rejuvenate cognitive functions. Our body and our muscles can learn how to repair. And it's just some simplest steps, once we have the understanding, that you can do that could reap benefits. And even if you're very career or focus driven, just by incorporating some of this, you will be far much more productive. Now, I will put my hand up, okay? I am guilty, and I have been for many years until recently, that I think rest days were completely unproductive, okay, and a waste of time. I'm like, my to-do list is over here, and I was like, no, just keep going, because you need to get this to-do list down. But actually, my weekend experience really stopped me in my tracks. And it got to the point where I was like, rest isn't a luxury. Okay, after everything that I've been going through in the past few months, loss of my mother, challenging children, going back to work, it really at the weekend just stopped me in my tracks to go, actually, this is something we all need to stop and listen to, because rest is a necessity. And that allows us to really renew our well-being. And today, I want to share with you right now the different types of rest, just to start that process of let's look at ourselves holistically and seeing, well, what areas might we be deficient in? Now, the first one, the first one you could all relate to will be physical rest, isn't it? And we think this one is good because you need a good quality sleep. And that is a big part of this. Physical rest is good quality sleep. And I chat with a lot of my clients about what does their bedtime routine look like. And actually, the question I want to ask you all is, do you actually have a bedtime routine? For me, I started to do this, and I've been doing this for months, okay, because a lot goes on in my day, and therefore I start early, and I do need to feel that rest. So I have my phone set to do not disturb from a specific time. Equally, it does have exceptions. So if there's an emergency, my husband's trying to phone me, that will override. And very much, I ensure that my bedroom is at the right temperature. Sometimes I perform a sort of like a sleep yoga. I have a journal. I reflect on the day gone by, and I try to set the intention the next day. And by doing that, you can work out, by journaling, what's worked well for you today. How are you feeling? I journal about my feelings. What did I think? Do I feel gratitude? What worked well? What do I need to seek guidance for? And the intention is next day the sun will always rise, and therefore I wish to be the best person that I can be, serve others, and receive only positive energy. Now, I also read. I like to read, and reading can take many forms. It could be a fictional book where you lose yourself, and I know that certainly helps for teenagers, particularly when they're struggling with all the hormonal changes about, losing themselves to deal with their emotions. For me, sometimes it can be a fictional book, sometimes it's a personal development book, but just to kind of shut my mind off of sort of like the social media, what I've done at work or what I've got to do the next day. I just like to read to calm everything down. And then I'm ready to get some sleep, and ideally for at least 8 hours. So if this has sparked a sort of like a question for you about your sleep routine, why don't you just grab a bit of pen, a paper, and just as you're going through your sleep routine, which for us women could be, right, you've put the kids to bed, okay, maybe have a glass of wine, and then you're taking your makeup off, you're cleaning. What do? Do you then scroll through your phone? But write it down and then just leave it there. And the following day, go back to it and think, oh, okay, based on what I've heard and what's recommended and what's worked for others, is there any areas for improvement? What would that look like? What one baby action can you do to start off with and not do the whole shebang? And all we ask is it's just one baby step. Is that actually having a bath before bed or taking a shower? Is it putting your phone on to do not disturb? Is it actually putting your phone in a different room? But I think equally for physical rest, we shouldn't just think, oh, it's sleep. Because it can also include just lying down and relaxing your muscles and going through each of your muscles in your body, going tense, relax, lying down with no distractions and just lying there. Or looking at performing gentle movement in terms of yoga or walking, or even just a little nap in the afternoon, if you're feeling that that's where your energy drops. This can all help your body recover from physical demands of life. It can reduce the muscle tension and boost energy levels. I certainly in the recent weeks have just found that actually just by lying down for 5 minutes during the day, no distractions, resets not just my body, but my mind also. Which leads me, I suppose, to the next area, number 2, which is mental rest. You see, our brain is constantly processing information. It's making decisions, it's solving problems, and we are in the age of constant stimulation. And so if we don't look at this area, we are literally setting ourselves up to fall. And it's so key to get that mental rest is to break free from this relentless activity. But how can we achieve? And some people take to meditation and just focusing on their breath at various times throughout the day, or just in the morning or night. Others may benefit from taking regular short breaks during the workday and engaging with activities just that are like colouring or washing up, that do not require concentration or complex processing. And this can help reduce mental fatigue, enhance your focus, and boost creativity. And as I'm talking to you, we've got in the UK May half term, and myself and my family always go camping. And I'm just reading this and sharing it with you, not reading it, but I'm talking to you about it and going, well, actually, that week away where there is no phones, no washing machine, it is pure, simple, out in the fresh air, is going to tick a number of these boxes that I'm sharing with you today for that rest. But it's more important that we don't just wait for that one holiday and go, does it include this, this, and this? This is about what can you do daily, because you're impacted daily. So the third one, and this is one that I've really struggled with in the last few weeks, is the emotional rest. And how can you express my emotions, your emotions in a healthy way. And I suppose, yeah, we've all done it. We've all just been very frustrated, angry, but we need to kind of, first of all, understand what is an emotion. And it is anger, sad, but it is our body trying to give us some feedback. And it's feedback on what's happening around you and how your body feels about that. And our emotions can indicate a need for something in our lives, and the tendency can relate to how much it matters to us. And it can drive us equally, our emotions, into action, and it can allow us to connect to others. What some people do is suppress those feelings. And just to give you an example, you could really get ashamed that you've got mad and angry. And that shame is because perhaps you were brought up to say that you shouldn't be angry, you shouldn't, let it impact you. You put a smile on, you put a brave face on. And it's those beliefs and upbringings that actually have really impacted us from detaching ourselves from experiencing that emotion and listening to the feedback it's providing for us and working it through in that present moment. And guilty of that, absolutely guilty of that, with the traumatic childhood upbringing that I've had. It's like children should be seen, not heard. And, you put on a brave face, you take the trauma, you don't say anything. And I think for emotional rest, it's really taking that moment about being honest with your feelings, naming that feeling, recognizing how it makes you feel, and just sitting with it and listening to if there's a hidden message and seeking support when needed. Now, that's really hard. The first step that I've been doing is just sitting going, I feel really sad. I want to cry. And I try and just let it go. Whether or not I know the reason for that, there doesn't have to be a reason. There doesn't have to be a message. But just allowing that emotion to go through my body. And just having that release. The body holds so much detailed data that you really do need to embrace that. And for me, and certainly with the education of my children, and we've got very two extremes now, I'm not going to suppress my emotions, where my husband has still got the belief that you don't express your emotions. And we're trying to work together as a family unit to say, well, actually, it's okay to show your frustration and explain why you're frustrated. And it's like, for me, I'm very angry at you at this moment in time because you've just kicked your brother, or you haven't done what I've asked you to do. And that has now made me feel quite overwhelmed. So I'm quite angry with you. And by doing this and expressing your emotions with your friends, with your partner, with your family, you're really coming to terms with that emotion, but you are also sharing that message to everybody out in the world. It's okay to express your emotions. It's safe to do that. And the emotion side, I think, is a very complex subject, and it's a very difficult one for us to embrace. The first step for me will be actually recognizing your emotions and just sitting out and being with them. But there's equally, you've got to think about any emotional draining situations. And this could include seeing some family members. And you've got to work out, okay, can I either step away from that situation entirely because I know I'm just not in a good place, I need that emotional rest that's quite high, or setting boundaries. So look, I can meet you at this particular time, have a quick coffee, and then go and do something else that lifts up your emotions, that allows you to release and feel more energized. And the more we embrace our emotions and share, I think you're elevating your health and well-being, but it has this cascade effect of that you are elevating everybody around you because you are sharing that energy. We're all made of energy, as you know, and it's important that we have to balance this energy and have this rest. So the fourth type is sensory rest. Many of you might have come across this when we've got computers, bright lights, noises, screens everywhere. The impact that our mind and body get is just completely overloaded with overwhelm, and it causes them to stop processing things, and we get feelings of anxiousness because you've got all this energy up in your brain and we've got nowhere to put it. And it's like just we're on constant sugar rush all the time. So just by reducing that sensory impact, and that can be through simple acts of turning off devices, sitting or lying quietly, dimming the lights, it just reduces that strain on your sense and lead to a calmer, more focused state of mind. And this is why part of our family week is that on a Friday, unless something really comes up that you can't, you have to attend or you want to go and do because it's emotionally building you up or creatively or socially building you up, we try to make Fridays a family time, and we cook a nice meal, and I will purposely put on a lot of candles just because that sort of like taken away from the artificial lighting to something more natural, more naturistic, it really reduces everybody. And just, be a bit more conscious as you're going around. People have baths with lots of candles in. How does it make you feel? Or if you're going to a restaurant or somebody else's house and they've got candles up, how does it make you feel? The fifth type of rest is creative rest, and that really rejuvenates your creativity. And it could be engaging in the beauty of the world, so it could be art, nature, or music, which allows you to become inspired. Certainly for me, doing the cookery course to learn something a bit more creative, something new, it just really energized me. And this type of rest enables you to have those new ideas, enhances your problem skills, solving skills. It brings you so much joy. And again, on a Friday, it's like we have the music, we have the candles, it just brings that sense of calm, passion, ready to sort of like perform whatever throughout the day that you're doing, or ready for the next day. Number 6 type of rest was about social rest. And this is actually, I found quite interesting, because we have social interactions daily in our lives. And what do we actually mean by that? Because I was like, well, what do you mean by social rest? Because socially, I connect with lots of people on a daily basis in different forms. And actually what they're saying for this one is surround yourself with positive and supportive people. And whilst distance yourself from relationships are draining or stressful, and it can help in building stronger, more fulfilling relationships overall, and greatly improve your mood and outlook on life. And I had to really pause at that point and go, well, can you give me some context here? And it was very interesting because actually, let's just take a simple example. Have you been at work or in a meeting in a place with a friend where they are just constantly going, what's wrong? Nothing's fun. Everything in the world is going to end. How does that make you feel? And it can drain you. So actually, set the boundaries. But when you're sitting, even the person you're sitting next to at work, if they are vibrant, okay, and positive, and they're like, yeah, let's get up and go, which I have been accused of many times, you will feel that actually raises your energy levels. It drops your shoulders. You feel better as a person. You feel that there's a brighter future and the sun is coming out around you. So just take a moment and just look at what is your social circle like, and perhaps make a list of, you go, these are the people that I definitely would drop everything for and I want to spend time with. These are the people that let's see, and these are the people that no, they're just emotionally draining and I'm going to have to look at setting boundaries with them. Apply it to your social life, to your work life, and just really take that moment, because it does have an impact to you. And the final out of the 7 was spiritual rest, and that's about finding meaning and purpose beyond our daily routines. And this can be achieved through a number of activities, and a lot of people are probably sitting there going, you mean to say I need to meditate and pray? And yeah, some of that may be that perspective on life, but a spiritual rest just gives you a deep sense of calm and perspective on life. And I truly think this is another hard aspect for us all. Yeah, little steps, little baby steps can be taken just to start this process. And when we say that, you just go, well, actually, at the end of the day, what's been the positives about your day? What has been the positive aspects about your day that you are truly grateful for? And that could be that you got a compliment from a friend, that you've gone to the hairdresser and you feel absolutely amazing. But just really sit and think, well, what has been the positive aspects of your day? You know, take the challenge to try to do 3 a day and then build it up. It could also be that you take your shoes off in the summer and go and just walk your bare feet on some grass, or a moment in nature. Certainly with the changing of the seasons, you're seeing more colour, more bright. But I think really for spiritually, it's actually being present now in this moment. Just breathing and going, how do I feel? Letting your thoughts come. Don't put anything around it. Don't overanalyze it. Let them just be. And other methods can be like chanting. And I know that I have Spotify. There are other apps. And actually, sometimes just some of the chanting music that you can play in the background just has that healing effect of that spiritual rest. So let's just take a pause. Okay, recap. And I'm hoping at this point you're going, wow, I didn't realize there were so many, but there's 7 types. Physical rest, and that doesn't just include sleep. Mental rest, because we're processing information all the time. Emotional rest, sensory rest, creative rest, social rest, and spiritual rest. Now that we understand the types of rest that are available to us, you are probably all sitting there going, okay, you've got my attention, Michelle, but how do we incorporate it in our lives? And literally, I just came across this with one thing and it was like, bam, I need to do this. So if you looked at that list, like with anything else that we listen to about holistic well-being, if you want to go whole hog, really is just going to be too much overwhelm, in my opinion. Like with anything, you start small and you build up. Even if you've got a big ambition and goal, we always break it down into smaller chunks and we do little bits each day to get towards there. So even if it's just 5 minutes away from a distraction, a small nap, a quick brief walk or body stretch, just taking one baby action, okay, and trying it out and seeing how it makes you feel, and you build that one action up gradually over time. So start small, build it up. Experiment, okay? I've given you a couple of ideas of what we could do, but actually for each type of rest, an activity can be applied. And you've got to go, did that revitalize me? Did it not? Did it make me feel energized? Did it not? So really just try and work out and experiment, and don't judge yourself if you don't find it the first time, because everybody's different. And so for me, I absolutely love just lying down halfway through the day quietly for 5 minutes. I've got no sensory overload. I'm away from it. I've got mental rest. I've got sensory rest. And I got partly by lying down, physical rest. So I've got 3 in one action for 5 minutes. And really the other thing that I find is me really focusing on now and looking at what activities do bring me joy. And I do love cooking and baking, and I will be hopefully doing some videos that will show you what I do, but I really enjoy doing the cooking and the baking. It just brings a sense of gratitude and calm. You really need to be intentional about your rest though, and you've got to pay attention to what kind of rest you need at different times. So we've all been there. The brain just feels fried, okay? So your brain's fried, you can't concentrate. That's your cue. That's your body giving you the feedback to say you need to have some sort of mental rest, some time out. If you've just been out, okay, to conferences, then you've gone out for dinner, and then you've gone out with another dinner, and then a kid's party, or, all this social interaction, and you feel drained at the end of the week, reflect on what's happening in the next week or at the weekend and go, right, is that social engagement going to really serve me? Is it going to be drawing me up or draining me? And can you cancel? And if you're cancelling, right, that is your right. Set the boundaries, because there is only you. Okay? Don't feel any judgment about yourself. Don't feel like you have an obligation to attend. There is only you. And it's key that you find peace and well-being. So be mindful of your needs to allow you to take care of your well-being effectively, and just checking yourself with regularly. There is no harm in cancelling. Make sure you're scheduling times for rest. So like you would do with your work, you block out times in your diary to have meetings, you schedule in times for family events. Put rest in your calendar. One for me, which until I was delving into this to actually deliver this podcast, I was like, actually, yeah, every Sunday at 4 o'clock, it's bath time. Okay, it's bath time. And so people sort of say, oh, Michelle, can I give you a call at 4? And no, okay, that's my bath time, but you can give me a call then. And it really then gives you that commitment to ensure you're prioritizing your well-being, so that even when life gets really, really busy, you know that you've got that there. Again, Awareness is the first step for success in all life, okay? And it's the awareness of yourself, the awareness of around you, the awareness to the detail. So really focus on the benefits of doing this. And it doesn't matter what the motivation is, whether or not to improve your mental clarity or increase energy levels or reduce stress. Just keep the benefits of rest in mind to really motivate you to continue with the rest practices. And this is where you go, right, start noting down in journal what works for you and what doesn't. And, you know, you can combine, as I said before, the different types of rest. So a quiet walk in nature can provide physical, sensory, and spiritual rest all simultaneously. Job done. So again, just don't compartmentalize these types of rest into one activity and get overwhelmed. You can combine, okay? And it simply takes 5 minutes. Learn to say no to those activities that threaten to take away your rest time. Set boundaries is essential. And I think I might do a podcast on boundaries, actually, because they're so difficult to do and implement, but the benefits are amazing. I think, as I've said, this is awareness, and this is just, even if you don't have any takeaways from today, apart from one, which is the awareness of your surroundings and how you are feeling in that moment, that's my ask of you and call to action, is just creating this awareness. Because actually, stay open to adjusting your approach, because life will change. Your life will not stay the same, and your rest needs will change. And I can really truly relate to this because my mother died 3 months ago, quite suddenly, unexpected. And just that loss of losing an impact of a loved one impacts people in many different ways. And at the time, I was hit with, I needed physical rest, I needed emotional rest, I needed spiritual rest. I just needed rest to actually be able to go through that, to come out, to feel better with my well-being in order to continue with my life's journey. So it's really being aware of how you're feeling and what is going on around you and how it impacts you, even if it's simply you going, I've just got too much noise up here, too much stimulation. Just go, I need 5 minutes, time out. And one of my passions, right, and I am deeply, deeply passionate about this, is sharing the practices you rest with others. And you can't change people, you really can't, but you can encourage others and to prioritize their rest. And the reason why it's so important to share experiences is because from being a physically and emotionally abused child, okay, and suffering the trauma where I couldn't talk, I couldn't share, I went into survival mode. I don't want anybody to feel that way because it doesn't serve. And just by sharing what works with you, what you've tried, you may be supporting somebody else, somebody that's dear to you. It's allowing you to show that you're vulnerable. And yes, I am vulnerable. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Okay. But I can enhance my relationships by doing that. And I can create that restful community around me, support others, and raise that vibration so it serves all of us. And this is why I do this podcast, because it's the sharing of knowledge and experiences And, you know, I really value your input and what you've found works well or not well, because everybody has the right to live their life in a calm, peaceful, healthy, fullest potential way. And that way, anything's possible. You can achieve your dreams. So, yeah, I've got to say it hit me of experience creativity and how much the impact did to actually stop me in my tracks to go, yeah, let's have a look. What does this mean? We've got 7 different types of rest. How can you incorporate baby steps, just baby steps, doing little actions, noting and being present and grounded in an awareness, and then sharing and sharing. So if you are now hearing this message, you've listened to my entire episode, and for that, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really do hope that this episode has resonated with you and you've enjoyed it. And if you did, I would be so very grateful for you to leave me a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, or even head over to my YouTube channel, leave me a comment, and share your experiences, that you've put some of these into practice. So equally, share this episode with others who may be interested in this topic. I think it's one that can be applied to everybody. And do, as I've just said, let me know, what topics would you like me to cover in future episodes? Go get in touch via the comments on this episode, via my YouTube channel, or via my Instagram, all of which I will put in the show notes. So thank you once again, and I hope that you live and breathe and elevate your own health and well-being, and I will see you next week.